I'm Xanderwood. I make indie games and tutorials on game development. I also play your indie games every week on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you never miss a video.
As always, before we get into the video, a massive thank you and a shout out to my wonderful Patreon community: James Welch, Foozle CC, Basic Terrazan, Retro Galaxy, Fan Van, Mashinsky, Jet Simon, Olivier Bernier, Mario Lewis, Enmark Games Matt, and Seth Coble for supporting my game dev journey. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to create the Holy Water, which is the third and final weapon I'm going to be adding into this tutorial series. I know there is more in the actual game, but I think the 3 gets across, how to do it. And the Holy Water is a bit different to the projectiles because it lands on the floor and then creates fire, or whatever that is. Anyway, I also want to add in the enemy health bar at the top here. Let's do that first. Let's just copy and drag down the generic text that says player and just change it to enemy. And then this health bar here, we're going to need to clone this. So again, let's make sure on the HUD layer, right click, I'm going to clone it. Instead of health bar 2, I'm just going to call it enemy HP. There's also a background. No, there's no background under that. This one, if you look at the original game, is a little bit of a pinkier color. So let's just change that now. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly. You can color yours whatever you like. I'm just going to do mine like that, which I am happy with. Right, we're going to need to make the Holy Water. So we've got our pickups here, and we've got our actual weapons here. So let's go ahead and clone the dagger. Pop it here, double click in, and we're going to need to make a sprite for this. I think I'm going to keep the same color schemes. It's going to be kind of a little bottle. Which I think will be that. That'll be fine. The collision boundary, let's just make it the kind of shape of the actual item, because this isn't what's going to hurt the enemies. This is just going to be a visual representation of something dropping on the floor. Let's call this Holy Water, and now I'm going to clone it. And I'm going to call it Holy Water Pickup. But it's going to look differently because the actual one looks much more like a square bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. In fact, I'm going to drop it down to there, and I'm going to put that at the top there. Make the bottom a little bit darker. For me, that's okay. That's just going to be. Oh, we need to make the bounding box the width of it, and Construct's gone and done its thing where it somehow deletes part of the sprite. I think that. I don't even know. Let's have a look. See what does the original one look like? It looks like that. So it's got like a kind of not a straw, but like a dipper in it. Yeah, the outside is white and then the inside is blue. That's what the difference is. So let's put the white jar here. And then the inside will be a blue color. And then the top will be a nicer blue color. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. That kind of looks like holy water. It's good enough for me. You can make yours look whatever you like. But that's our holy water pickup that will fall out of the blocks. And that is the little canister that we will throw that will then create the fire. Now let's go ahead and create the fire. Although these need to not be on the HUD layer. Let's make sure they're on the objects layer. Like that. Now on the objects layer, let's double click and we're going to add a particle effect. And this one is going to be 2 by 2. And it's going to be a few different shades of this blue. In fact, I think it's going to be that. It's going to be darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. And I'm going to rotate it around. And I'm going to shrink it down. There. Now if I play it and preview it, that is not what we want. We only want it to be a one shot, or no, a continuous spray, I think, because we're going to switch it on and off anyway. The rate is too much. Let's do 10. The spray cone is going to be 180. The speed is going to be 50. Opacity is going to be 80. X randomizer, so I want it to cover a width of probably 3 times the width of the player, which is 16. So that'll be 32, that'll be 48. Y randomizer, let's just say 4. Speed randomizer 10. Size randomizer 4. Grow rate, in fact we need the grow rate to be -2. The initial size 2. Okay, this is getting a little bit better. I think they need to be bigger. So let's put the size at 4. I think we need more of them. So let's change the rate to 50. It's better. I think the Y randomizer can be 0. Acceleration 0, because I just want them to come up. Speed randomizer 400. Angle randomizer 25, so they can go in different directions. I think the opacity could come down to 60. The grow rate needs to be bigger now. Grow rate -4. I want them to go straight up rather than left and right. So let's fade them to invisible after half a second. I want the gravity to be -100. That's it. So they go up. In fact, maybe the X randomizer can just be 32. It's better. Angle randomizer 0. Let's randomize the opacity by 30. Speed 30. It's better. Rate 60. Yeah, that's not too bad. If that falls on the floor, it'll just kind of go up. It's only going to be there for literally a second before it gets turned off. So we can turn off the preview now. Can bring this one down here. I'm going to call this one Holy Water Particles. And there we have all the components we need to make this new weapon. So let's go back to the player events. Was it the functions? Here we go, the functions. Right, so we're going to need to create a new function. let's rename it to water spawner. And again, we only want it to be able to activate when we can throw, but this time instead of spawning the dagger, we're going to spawn in the holy water on the objects at image point attack. Perfect. Wait 0.3 seconds and then set throw. Can throw. Yep, back to true, so that's fine. Now we need to go back into the player events under the controls, and it's going to be down here under our secondary weapon, which is the right arrow key, if we can throw. And then we're going to change weapon if it's equal to water. And then we're going to spawn in the water spawner. Now let's come back down to our pickups. And then if we collide, again, copy this one. If we collide with the holy water pickup, then we're gonna destroy it. And we're gonna set weapon to water. There we go. Now we need to go back to the functions because we need to also add in fact, we don't need to add in the particles. We need to set an event for that. So let's go back to the player events under pickups. Let's add an event and let's just say holy water. And we want that to trigger when we say on collision with another object, and that object will be ground. On collision with ground, then we need to destroy it, and we need to spawn in the particles. So we're going to say holy water, and we're going to spawn another object, and that object is going to be the the holy water particles on the objects layer at image point 0, but that wants to happen before we destroy the holy water. Let's see if that works. Oh, we're not going to be able to because we don't have it equipped, or it's not equipable. So go back to functions. We're going to create another one of these sub events in the item spawner. This one is going to now say if it's equal to 3, and this one's going to say equal or greater to 4. So there's still a higher chance to get a heart. And we're not going to create that one. We're going to create the holy water. Pick up exactly at the candles. We don't need that. Now we have a chance of changing our weapon. It's not going to change in the HUD because we don't have that drawn in yet. What just happened? It's because the bullet is assigned to this. Not that, sorry. This has a bullet speed of 200. We don't need that to have the bullet speed. We need that to have the platform behavior. Remember, it's going to fall and drop. We do need this to have the bullet behavior, but I don't want it to fire up in the same trajectory as the axe. So I'm going to need to copy the axe on created and do a new one for the holy water. So we're going to say holy water on created. And then we're going to keep the player is mirrored is not mirrored, but we're going to set the angular motion of the holy water to some different numbers. The angle, I think 250, but I think the speed will be a lot less. In fact, it's probably going to be fine. Let's go back to the layout. Select the holy water. Let's just change the speed to 80. And let's see what happens now. Axe. There we go. Oh, but it flies up into the air because it doesn't have any gravity. So let's give it gravity. What's the gravity on the player? 1500. So let's give it the same. There we go. Now we can drop it and create holy water, which will kill the enemies. The only problem is it doesn't go away. So we can make that happen. That's not an issue, but I do like the effect. I think it's quite nice. I do think, though, we're going to set the angle of motion slightly bigger. So let's say 230. We can deduct 20 and add 20 onto each. And I'm going to make the bullet speed 120 as well. Now, we need to say on created again, not system. We need to say, where's the particles? Holy water particles on created. System, wait 1 second and then destroy them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should be fine. I picked up the dagger again. Here we go. There we go. There we go. And we've got the axe, and all is well in the world again. That's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for following along. A little bit shorter one today. I've got all of the secondary weapons I want in the game now. In the next episode, we're going to start adding in some enemies. We're going to start with the ghosts or the ghouls or whatever they are that run across the screen. We're going to add in some bats that kind of fly in from left and right on that sine wave. And we're going to add in, maybe in the next episode, maybe in a future episode, the wolf or the werewolf or whatever it is that runs. But that's going to probably be an episode all by itself because we're going to have to create and animate that enemy type, whereas the bats and the ghouls are going to be relatively easy to animate. So that's all coming up. Thanks for sticking around if you made it this far. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.